Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the First Class, Second Place podcast. I'm your host, Jason Enrique, and we got another first class guest up in the building today. But before we continue, I want to remind everybody that we are live in Bravery Studios in Garfield, New Jersey. Shout out to Najee Behind the Glass. What's going on, brother? First and foremost, I want to thank each and every one of you guys. Just so you guys know, this is the first episode that I've done of this episode of this podcast, I should say, of me being age 39. So happy belated birthday to me. Thank you to everybody that came out for the birthday celebration. Everybody at Bravery Studios, at Club Andromeda, had a great time. Got to sing my lungs out, a little bit of Billy Joel and all that stuff. Had a great time. Thank you so much. It was one of the best birthdays I've ever had, and it's just been blessings from here on in for the past couple of days. So I want to thank each and every one of you for sharing your wishes and your blessings and everything like that. Really appreciate it. And let's just pop off this year with a bang. And I think that we did a great job. And so thank you again, Najee, for attending this show. I really appreciate it. All right, well, we got that out of the way. So everybody knows by now, obviously, the name of the show is First Class, Second Place. And it's only right we have first class people that come up here. It's only right. And it's also ironic that this guest right here also has a moniker of upper class. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Twondon is in the building. What is going on, Twondon?
What's going on, brother? Happy belated.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, happy birthday, happy belated. I saw you posted on IG, but I was like, I'm gonna wait till I see him and then like do it more on camera, do it more formal.
I
I
appreciate that, man.
Absolutely,
thank you so
bro.
much. Yeah. And you know what? Even if you did, and no shade to anybody, but even if you did give shout outs to social media, I probably wouldn't have got it until much recently because I was surprised about the amount of people that just like gave the wishes. Now, interesting fact, I really paid attention to the Instagram. And also a little bit of the Twitter, not so much Facebook, because I feel like Facebook, everybody had literally the same sentence and the same emoji, so it was just like one of those press and go type of things. I appreciate it nonetheless, but it just didn't feel very authentic to me, especially people that I haven't spoken to in the other 364 days anyway. So.
Not fair. No, I don't even have a Facebook account no more. So yeah.
Well, you would think that for an artist in the marketing, that wouldn't you need something like that?
That was early on.
Okay.
I was Facebook crazy. I used to log into like my peers' Facebook accounts and like spam my stuff through their accounts too. So I feel like I ran through that course already, and I'm really just trying to like capitalize on the other three juggernauts right now. Facebook is still a big platform, of course, because obviously Instagram is owned by Facebook. But I just feel like in a sense of like branching out, because Facebook is a lot of like friends and family. I just feel like I'd be kind of talking to the same audience.
Got you. Well, first and foremost, I'm 39, like I just mentioned right now. Yeah. So my thing back in the day was MySpace. Like I remember.
I was on MySpace too.
Yeah. But I'm saying like you're still doing what you're doing. Back then, I was doing what you were doing, if that makes sense. Because I was doing it during the MySpace days, and then I guess when the new decade of the 2010s came, that's when I kind of just like, I just went left and then try to pivot into something else. I didn't know what I was going to do at the time, but it just didn't pop off yet. But that's actually a nice topic right there to speak on, because this is an interesting, funny story. So, and I mentioned this to you, but I'm going to mention to the audience. So,
I think I know where you're going.
Yeah. So I got to. Part of the reason why you came on the show is because I saw you on an episode of one of my dear friends, Alana J, on Act Up with Alana J. Shout out to Alana J.
Shout out to Alana.
Go like and subscribe to the podcast. One of my favorite people and podcasters of all time. Please go check it out. Love you, girl. And so you were on that show, and you were talking about a song that you did that actually got on the radio. I mean, you've had plenty of songs on the radio, but there was one particular that stuck out to me. Yeah. And I believe it was Green and White.
Facts.
Okay, so Green and White. So unfortunately, I'm a big diehard Jets fan. Unfortunately, I guess I'm a masochist because I love Tim for playing on myself. But during the time when I was doing music, I was actually trying to take the instrumental to Black and Yellow from Wiz Khalifa, and I wanted to do my version of that because the Jets were actually on fire that time. Yeah,
they were killing.
And so, but I wanted to do a song called Green and Blanco. And but then afterwards, I guess I was procrastinating, or I never got around to it, and then next thing you know, I hear on Hot 97 somebody do this song called Green and White, and I'm like, motherfucker, like, this guy already took my idea, whoever it is. Fast forward to now, it comes to turn out that person is you.
Yeah.
You were the one. You beat me to it.
But you see how creativity works. You put it out there.
Yeah.
It found someone else because you didn't act on it.
Right.
Yeah. And I find sometimes when I manifest or speak my ideas out, if I don't act on it in a timely manner, I see it pop up somewhere else, and it's like, whose fault is that? But
But you know what? That's a great point, because that just goes to show that what I was trying to do back then wasn't for me. now I'm doing this podcast thing, and
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a little bit ahead of the curve on other people. You know, not to sound like a dick about it or anything, but I feel like
Nah, both
I've been
big
able.
yourself up, bro.
I,
Big yourself up,
well, I'm
bro.
just not trying to do it in an arrogant
Yeah,
way,
yeah, yeah.
but I feel like I've only been able to do that because I actually found my niche. This is something that I enjoy doing. Not to say that I didn't enjoy doing music, but I feel like I got in it for all the wrong reasons. You know, I got it for
got
like,
you, yeah.
because like back then I just thought that this is the way that I'm going to get rich, how I'm going to provide for my family, this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, I never really took the time to actually appreciate the art form and what comes with it. And you know, if all of the politics of anything that you want to get into discourage you, and that's what happened to me, discouragement, then it's not really for you. I mean, but at least I could say that I gave it a try. It just never went anywhere.
Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah. You should have found me and hit me up. We could have did a remix. We could have found a way to get it out there some way, somehow.
You know what? Probably two things. One, I probably didn't know how to reach out to you because I don't think I didn't know who sang the song.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
two, my bitter ass at the time would be like, man, fuck this dude, man. I ain't fucking working with this dude now. But see, this is how growth happens. You know, now I have you on the show, and it's just funny
It's a
how
dope full
time
circle
works.
moment.
Yeah, it's a great full circle moment.
That's a really dope full circle moment.
Yes.
And like you said on the introduction, for you to have a brand and a title and a name of First Class and mine being Upper Class, like it's just a strange like connection. I don't know, like in a good way though. Not
No, absolutely, yeah.
So it's a dope full circle moment. Maybe it's better to happen this way.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. And you know what? I as much as I don't really like to use this phrase, everything happens for a reason. Sometimes it's true. You know, I really think that something like this was meant to happen, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity and also
Likewise,
checking out
man.
the show. And I'm a much better person now because now I could actually say that your fucking music is dope, as opposed to just hating
brother.
on you for doing something that I didn't get a chance to do.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. That was a good run, though, man.
Yeah.
That was the year that I think they got the closest.
Yeah,
And then
back-to-back
they
years.
ironically lost against the Steelers that year.
Mm-hmm.
I remember.
And even worse than that, I remember when the game had just finished and the Steelers are going to the Super Bowl, they immediately start playing that Black and Yellow song.
Yes.
I heard it blaring through the system.
And then what happened, I'll be fully transparent,
Yeah.
the count and the views and everything drops a little bit on Green and White. I think everybody just got defeated. Like even the fans and the listeners, because it was peaking because when the Jets was killing, obviously.
Yeah.
But that was a devastating loss. 'Cause I remember it being a close game too.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
We were
and
just
then-
5 points away from
I remember it. I think me, my mom, my brother, we was all like just watching it, and they not even like really big on like football like
and
that.
stuff,
But yeah, when the Steelers won, Black and Yellow, to the moon. Jets lost, Green and White started to get a little. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's funny how the Steelers lost in the Super Bowl to Aaron Rodgers, who eventually became our quarterback.
Became a Jet. Yeah. It's like it's a strange way. Like God got a funny sense of humor, man. You really do. Yeah.
Well, that's how you know that sometimes maybe God does exist, because only He can have this kind of humor.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I always joke around like, hey, God must be funny because only somebody like Him could invent something as funny as flatulence. I mean, I'm 39 years old, but I still have like third grade toilet humor. So.
Yeah.
All right, but anyway, I just thought that was a nice full circle moment to share.
I remember we spoke about it briefly, but
Yeah.
like I knew in person, I'm like, damn, that's crazy, bro.
I know.
That's crazy. Yeah, and like no, that's more than a decade.
Yeah.
That's more than a decade.
Time flies, man. It
Insane.
doesn't even feel like it.
At
Like I
all.
said, I'm going to be 40 in less than 365 days.
Yeah.
And it just feels like yesterday when I just turned 30.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? I feel really proud that even though it was a little bit later in life, that I've been able to, because even when we're relatively young, we still feel like we're getting older and we're not going to be like we were back then. But we have to keep in mind that, the glass is just half full. Like, we're still relatively young. Like, I may feel a little bit older than I was before, but that doesn't mean like I'm 60 or anything. I still got a lot more life to live.
Absolutely.
So I'm just glad that I found my niche at the time that it was supposed to.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I've used my platform as well, to try to show people that it's never too late to find anything that you want to do.
I'm a firm believer in that. Because I think it's more about like how you feel internally a lot of the times, like for example, I think what people got to realize is just like you create your own clock sometimes. Like nobody else knows like what you aiming for, what you trying to do, like what your ultimate goal is. we get in our own head and create our own like window and when we need to complete things. And it really bugs me out sometimes because I'm just like, why, like, we self-sabotaging ourselves when we do that. And then let's say if you don't hit a milestone when you said you wanted to hit it in your mind, what are you going to do? Like, just stop? You know? So
yeah.
it's a strange way of thinking. So I'm a firm believer that like anything you passionate about, and I don't like the shoulda, coulda, woulda. I want to at least, like how you said, like at least you tried music out. At least you did it.
Yeah.
You could say I did it. However it turned out, whether it went your way or if it didn't.
Right.
I'm someone who I got to get everything out. I can't leave nothing on the table. You know what I'm saying? And I think more people need to like adopt that mindset and just go, like just do the shit. Like just do it. Cause unless you know, if you're trying to like make the NBA or you trying to like, if it's anything where it's like a physical like sport or physical thing that, you know, takes time and like you kind of like blow a knee out or something like that and then you just can't. I feel like what we're doing when it comes to like me with fashion, music, podcasting, if you go onto radio, God bless you, you're always gonna have your voice. So I don't think you should ever put a window on any like goal or aspiration you have, as long as your voice keep working. Like just keep going.
Round of applause, round of applause, round of applause.
For real.
All right, so we're Tarantino in this shit right now. Where we start from the middle and then we go back to the beginning and then something like that. I love that though. That's kind of like how the format goes sometimes. We
that's right.
Kind of go with the flow. But what can you tell the people like where you originally come from, born and raised?
So I was born in Brooklyn, New York. My mom comes from a Trinidadian descent, Caribbean background. So when they came to the States, they landed in New York. So I was born in Brooklyn, but I moved to Englewood, New Jersey, super young. So I'm pretty much I'm from Jersey, not pretty much. I'm from Jersey, raised in Jersey, but my birth certificate reads Brooklyn.
Okay.
Yeah.
And growing up in Englewood, that's Bergen County. What was what was your personal experience like growing up? Because for the people that come from Jersey that come on the show, I'm always fascinated to know where they specifically come from because I just think that this is a fascinating state. Originally, the show. Full disclosure, the show originally was supposed to be Jersey based, like it was just about to be like a representation of the state, but it kind of got away from that and it kind of got bigger than that. Now I've had people from all over the place, but I always like to keep that Jersey perspective in some way, shape, or form. So for Twondon specifically, what was the experience like growing up in Englewood?
It was dope, man. I love where I'm from. I got it tattooed on my hands. Parkview is where I grew up in Englewood, and it just molded me. Like I got to give credit to Englewood, and I got to give credit to Parkview, and I got to give credit to Bergen County for just molding me to who I am now. And if you ask me, I don't know if we could come up with hypotheticals. I would tell anyone like I would want to be raised there all over again. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my view on it. I wouldn't want to change anything. The people I met, there's a lot of people I met down there that's still around me now, like my cousin Meech in the other room. And he's part of helping me with Upperclass. So I think God put me in an environment that he laid out all the tools for me, and it was just about how I'm gonna utilize it. So that's my view on where I'm from.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you know that you wanted to get into music at a very early age?
Facts.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
what was like? Was there like the light bulb that went off on your head moment that you were like, all right, I like music, I like what this is all about, but this is where I know where I want to take the trajectory of my life?
I think that happened later for me.
Okay.
I just started. So my mom worked in the industry, and I would be around her a lot. And I think just like subconsciously, it just started to like kind of like fester in my brain. And then as a kid, believe it or not, I was really quiet. So like music was my way of like kind of expressing myself and like being vocal in my own way. So I don't think I had a light bulb moment until I say like junior year of high school when I knew like I wasn't gonna go to college. So I'm like, I gotta go like full force.
What made you think that you didn't want to go to college?
I ain't really like school to begin with, to be honest, bro. Yeah, like and I just ain't want nothing to. I ain't want nothing to sidetrack me. Like when I started doing music and I started to really see results, mind you, all that stuff that was happening with Green and White, I was still in school. So like, I'm like, yo, if I'm doing this while I'm in school, with the whatever time I have when I'm out of here, imagine when I have it to my full leisure.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna go crazy. Like I'm gonna go like mad hard. You know what I'm saying? So I just like, I had to talk with my mom and got her opinion, and she's super, super supportive. As long as I'm, working smart, working hard, and like moving strategically. So I was just like, nah, I'm good on college. I didn't want to put myself in debt. And I was like, anything I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use my leisure to just like go hard with my goals and my dreams.
Yeah, and that's a good story because for me personally, I'm on the same boat as you, where I was never a school person.
Yeah.
I think we live in a time now where people are realizing that that doesn't have to be the end all be all. Like
Yes.
if they know what they want to do in life already, they just got to apply themselves. But you shouldn't have to force feed anything. And I think I grew up in an era where me personally, in my own household, it was school or bust. I mean, you could do anything that you wanted, but it had to be, through an education, this, that, and the third. And so I come from a family that is not creative at all. Like I'm the outlier. I'm the only one that ever wanted to do anything creative. I mean, I had a brother that wanted to get into sports. I don't know what my sister wanted to do, and she's doing like medical stuff right now, which is cool. She's made a great career out of it. But I was the only one that wanted to act. I was the only one that wanted to do music. I was the only one that wanted to be in media. And there's nobody in my family like that. So when you're the outlier, and everybody else has basically just mundane lives, and steady, and nothing, no shade against them, they are not familiar with it. And when they're not familiar with the creative aspect, then all the negativity that they're going to hear from like stories that they heard from like the media and all this other stuff, and it kind of puts like a negative connotation, and you also kind of get discouragement. Especially with me, I was a very insecure and shy kid as well, very quiet. I didn't bother anybody, and me not being able to defend myself in what I wanted to pursue, it was like an early stage of discouragement. And it wasn't until I started being rebellious where I just said, fuck it, I'm just going to do it, and I don't care what anybody else says. And at first I did care what everybody else was thinking, but I think I didn't get to where I am now with just worrying about what I want as opposed to trying to please everybody else.
Yeah. And it's ill that you say that is because early on, and I'm not saying anything that anyone can't go do
Right.
some homework and really see. I wasn't really that good at first, bro. Like my talent, I think, was like sharpened. Like what I mean by that is that like like LeBron is like, he was like put here to play ball, and like just like there's certain people who's put here and you like,
Yeah.
nah, he's meant for that.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think I just got an overall creative mind, and music was my way to kind of just like my first step to like I dip my toe in this, and like my first experimental way to like my creative way to like express myself. And I wasn't that good in the beginning, but I just kept going.
Yeah.
I just kept going. And there's been times, man, I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a crazy story. When mixtapes were a thing, like physical, right?
Yeah. Now you're taking it well back from me.
So
them K-Slate tapes. So that was my shit back then.
So I got them. I got some pressed up. That was probably my first or second mixtape. I was in high school still.
What was the name of it?
The first one was called "Where's My Crown" Volume 1, and the second one was called "Where's My Crown" Volume 2. And that's when everything's like a volume of something. Like
Right.
So,
I could see where the direction that you were trying to go with your persona at the time.
Right. You feel me? So it's just like when I pressed them up, I started giving them out for free in the school, right? And I can't put my finger on who responsible. And to this day, I'm still not sure. But I found one of my CDs like in the gymnasium just cracked, like broken in half. And I'm just like, I'm giving these shits away for free. Like, who, like, the audacity to just like do some shit like that, like, it's mind-boggling to me. And I'm like, think about a kid in high school thinking like, at the time, this is my dopest shit.
Yeah.
Pay money to get all this shit pressed up and all that, and I'm giving it out for free. And everybody who I'm giving it to is smiling, shaking my hand, and I'm gonna check it out. So who smiled, shook my hand, said I'm gonna check it out, but broke it in half, and I found it somewhere. So that could have discouraged me to be like, fuck this shit. I could curse, right?
Yeah.
Fuck this shit. I'm not doing this music shit. But I think it put a fire in me to just be like, I'm gonna show y'all.
And I think that's also a good way to realize that, and also in a way a healthy way, because it's almost like with stand-up comedy, with stand-up comedians. I use this analogy all the time where I think that comedians, one of the things that makes their art form difficult, but also like it really hones into their craft, is that they're gonna have moments where they get booed or they just bomb, you know? Because there's been stories where there's comedians that they're funny right out of the gate, and then all of a sudden they have this ego about them, but then that one moment that they bomb, it humbles them, and then it makes them want to work harder at their craft, and then afterwards that's when they try to like take a shit seriously and not get a big head about it, and this and that, just focus on the art itself instead of focusing on trying to be the next Kevin Hart or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's actually a great way to see about it. And also what I was going to say while you were telling that story is that there may be some people, again, that are not creatives, that they be like, big fucking deal, it's just a CD, like what do you care? Like, no, you pressed it up, you spent your own money, you were giving it to for free, but at the same time you put at that moment, even whether if it was good or not, you were still putting your blood, sweat, and tears into that project.
1000%.
So that's nothing to sneeze at or anything. So even though like you like it wasn't your best work, at least you put whatever you had within you in all of that project. And for somebody to just treat it like whatever, I can understand where you would feel sensitive about that, but I think the approach that you went about it was the right way.
Absolutely, yeah, because it just put a chip on my shoulder, and you know, it just also taught me that like everybody not gonna like you or like what you're putting out,
right?
And that's fine, because maybe that's just not the audience. You know what I mean? So I learned all this stuff young, which made me very relentless with like pursuing with what I'm pursuing.
And I think that's also where your confidence comes in, because not to like, you know, like kiss your ass or anything, but one of the things that I noticed about when I first saw you on the Lana J show and when I first met you in person is that this dude's just oozes of confidence. Like his confidence is on 10.
Thank you.
Like, he just walks into the room and like you could just tell like, I got this.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
I want like an ounce of your confidence. And I think I would move over. I would like make it big in life.
Yeah, you gonna be just fine, Jason, without it. I'll tell you. But I think a lot of that comes from, like I said, just pursuing all of this very young, running into all these roadblocks, running into doubt, running into just, like I said, just people who I thought, like I'm thinking, you know, everybody's supposed to support me, and then when you don't get it, it's like, nah, you learn how to maneuver around that. And then I think what also helped me with that is just, I'll give you another story.
Yeah.
My mom used to help me, like before I did my first show ever, my mom used to help me rehearse. And that was the biggest thing she said. It was like, when you go out there, people gonna know if you timid or not. They could tell. It's like they see blood. You know what I mean? And she always told me, like, lead with these performances with the utmost confidence, like you've been in before. Even though it's your first performance, don't make it seem like that. So that's why I walk in that room. If I meet somebody for the first time, I try to always eye contact, shake hand firm, and just like really not have no like no shaky voice, nothing like that, because it's just like that first impression they're gonna always remember. But that comes from her helping me with like my first show ever, which is like when you walk onto that stage, like walk on that stage like this your 10th, 11th, 12th like performance. So I think that always just stayed in the back of my mind, along with a whole bunch of other things, but that's like one of the main components.
So in actuality, the person I really need to be talking to is your mother, not you.
I'm just fucking with you. I'm fucking with you.
I'm fucking with you. Now, obviously, I experienced this as an artist at the time, and I've even dealt it sometimes in acting and in podcasting. And I know that there's plenty of people in our industry that has gone through all of these. Now, even though you've learned a lot of things at an early age, and you know how to maneuver and steer the ship and all that stuff to get to where you need to go, and all the achievements that you've accomplished so far, has there ever been any moments at all, like through the peaks and valleys of your career, where maybe there was that doubt, maybe creeping up and wondering if maybe this is not going to work after all, but you just kept on going, and then afterwards you just didn't let it stop you?
Yeah, I would say I'm trying to, I don't know if there's one particular I could think about on the top of my head, but there have been times where like, and we was talking about God having a funny sense of humor. Yeah. There has been times when I felt like I got like one of those ones, like record wise. The craziest thing about Green and White is I didn't expect it to do that. We just put it on the fly. But after coming off something like that, I'm like, oh, then everything should respond like that now, because everybody should know who I am now. Everybody should know what I'm here to offer. So there's been times with records in my mind, I'm like, this should perform phenomenally, but it doesn't. And then you get that little bit of discouragement, like what I did wrong this time. Like, was it a line I probably didn't put in that I was supposed to? Was there like a blog site that didn't post it this time that I feel like, could have helped it like propel? So there's been times I feel like on the music side where it's just like some of the discouragement will come from me setting expectations. When I like get into that, just lead with your heart, lead with the passion, let the world decide, it always goes way more like in my favor. But whenever I put expectations on a performance, on like for example, you know what? I just thought of one too.
Yeah.
I did a show in Brooklyn, I remember one time, and it was dead. Like blatantly, it was just dead. But then I've done shows where there's like 3,000 people in the crowd. So sometimes that could mess with you mentally too, because you got to go into it and perform in front of those 15 people as if it is 3,000 people, and then perform in front of those 3,000 people as if it's like 10,000 people, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So there was been times like that where I go to shows and expect, like again with the expectations, expect it to be like, oh, it's gonna be jumping, it's gonna be lit, I'm rehearsed, I'm ready for all this. But then you go in there and it's just like you could feel the like airiness in there because it's so spaced out. And it's just like only about 11, 12 people watching you, and it's just like, damn, like what we doing here type shit. But I just always, again, I just go up there, I give my all, and then what makes it very like still motivating is out of those 12 people, let's say if 2 people come up,
Yeah.
you're like, damn, bro, that shit was fire. Like, yo, where can I find you? Where can I fuck with you? Like, you got anything else? You sell this? You got merch? You boom, and then that makes it all worth it all over again. So I started to understand, like, it's just cycles with this shit.
Yeah.
There's weeks where I get full on inspiration, and it's like my pen is on autopilot. Then 2 weeks after that, I could just feel like ain't nothing. I got nothing. So it comes in like waves, Jason. I'm gonna be honest. It comes in waves. But those are like some examples of like shows that I got these high expectations and then they don't go my way, or I got an expectation for a song that I think is gonna like shoot through the roof, and then it's kind of just like, people look at it like it was cool. It's like, damn, like what I'm supposed to be doing. But like I said, when I remove that expectation, shit just come.
Right. And one thing that I think is really prevalent.
I see what he did there.
Yeah. And one thing that I think is very prevalent is and I spoke about this on a couple episodes already, and I'll just share with you and also the audience again, where I learned very recently that one of the reasons why I feel like I've been able to stay consistent and why people have been enjoying the show and this, that, and the third is because it's probably the one project that I've ever done in my life where I wasn't expecting people to like it, or if they're gonna love it, they're gonna hate it, that they're gonna check it out. Like, and I say this all the time, I could be doing this shit until I'm 80 and I can only have a loyal following of 6 people and I'm still gonna do it.
Yes.
Because I actually, when I do the show, I'm enjoying the journey. I'm enjoying doing this, and the editing and the post stuff is whatever. It is what it is. Comes with the territory. But I'm just enjoying the process as a whole. Whereas, I didn't put this thing out to be like, oh, wait till this shit drops. Everybody's gonna eat off of this shit and all that stuff, and everybody gonna fuck with it. That was never my process at all. Like, I just did it because I wanted to do it. Whereas I've seen people that they'll do podcasts, they'll do movies, they'll do music, they'll do this and that, and it always falls off without fail, because their thought process was, I want people to I want to see the reaction of people or what they're gonna get. They're looking for the end result, and I think that if you're just fast forwarding, if you're in the express lane for the end result, you're gonna be disappointed more than satisfied.
Absolutely, bro. And it translates to like what I be doing with clothing as well too.
Yeah.
So
nice segue, by the way. We'll get into that.
Thank you, bro. But because like as you were speaking, it's more things started to come to mind.
Right.
And it translates to what I would do with apparel also, because it's just, again, like it's so much time and energy that goes into like creating and designing, and then the labor, the manufacturing behind it. Like there's so many steps that you expect people that when they get the final product that like, yeah, this should just sell off the shelves. Like it should just be an easy boom. But same thing with design. It is designs that I created that was so complex that I'm like, oh, they gotta mess with this. Like this little detail right here, they gonna fuck with, and then it'd be the slow ones. Like then I throw like Upperclass, Made in the Suburbs with our slogan, gone. And I'm just like, you can't call it with none of this shit. Like you can't really call it. So to me, like you said, I just learned to like really enjoy the journey, and then just understand that as long as you getting the creative ideas out and not letting them sit dormant in your mind, I think you are ahead of 75% of the population
Right.
of people who want to pursue anything.
Right.
But they all keep it up there.
Yeah, and what I think is also pretty cool about being in this journey is that, you know, I started off podcasting, and then afterwards I veered off into acting, and now I'm like, you know, got a couple of projects off. So, because I think as a creative, you are having.
I'm sorry, you
yeah.
landed something recently too, right?
Yes, I did.
Congrats.
Oh, thank you, man. I
Yes.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. My very first stage play. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, but so the point that I'm getting at though is that you have so much fun in the creative process, and it could be in anything. It could be in movies, podcasting, media, music, whatever the case may be. And you're having so much fun, and you're meeting all these people of different areas and genres and stuff like that, that you kind of get inspired as well, because I feel like inspirational people are going to inspire others. And so with that being said, like me veering off from podcasting, which I'm still going to be doing until I'm 80, God willing, and, you know, I venture onto other things like acting and so on and so forth. That's kind of like with you, what, you know, started off with music, and now you're venturing off into fashion and other avenues as well.
Yeah.
So how did that journey go from like inspiring you from going from one thing to the other?
Yeah. So I always been into fashion, like dressing well. I always been into clothes, like just goes back to my mom again, just always keeping us like head to toe, just fly. Like
Damn, we
fresh.
really got to get Mama Twan on here real quick.
For real.
She's the one that's dropping gems.
She would, and she would love this. She candlelights, she'd love it. But so it really just started from the youth, but in a sense of the transition was because one, it goes hand in hand, so it's just good business. So you're doing music, and then fashion and apparel, merchandise, however you want to label it, being an extension of me as an artist. But the thing that I wanted to do differently is that I didn't want to attach anything to Twondon merchandise. I wanted to create something that if you're the average Joe walking down Palisades Avenue in Englewood and we got a boutique and it says Upperclass, it will say Upperclass International on the top. I don't want you to only shop there because you're like, oh, Twondon owns this, it's the artist, and I'm only going there. I want you to genuinely look at it like a apparel brand and as a clothing brand, and be like, yeah, I really, really fuck with this. I'm really shopping with this, whether it's Twondon attached or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what happened is that I was doing a concert in Atlanta. Shout out to my graphic designer, Liam. I was doing a show in Atlanta, and he was like, yo, you should take some T-shirts out there with you. I was doing clothes before, but got discouraged because all this money going into it, all this time with designing is going into it, and I think I was leading too much with a dollar sign when I first started doing it, and when it wasn't making what I thought it should be making, just brushed it off. So I'm doing this show in Atlanta, and he's like, you should just take some shirts down there and, you know, just sell them. Like, take like something light. Take like 12, 24 of them, whatever. So we get some regular tees print up, nothing crazy, just some like, it says like Twondon Paradise Isn't Free Tour, and then like it has the dates in the back and the cities in the back. So took them down there, did really well down there, took the rest up here, sold out. So I'm like, damn, Liam, like this might be it. Like this might be the time to revive it. Because there's more of a story behind it now than when I was doing it before. And I could really lead with that passion. I could really lead with like, I could take the dollar sign out of it. Like this, like I found that spark again. Like he helped me find that spark again.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah. So we went right into it. Like once that batch got out of here, we went right into it. And then that's the same kid who do my cover art. He do the designs for the clothing. It all come from like my mind, but I'm not really good at drawing and anything like illustration wise. But then from there, I'm just like, so those was attached to Twondon. But for there, I'm like, this is also a way to just bring the upper class like name to a whole another like level. And then whenever I don't have anything going on with music, I don't have to feel too pressured because I'm just like, I could focus on my other baby. You know, I could get this apparel and I could get this clothing out. So I just started just like, start off with the tees, you start off with the hats, you know, the basic stuff that's, you know, won't cost too much to produce.
Yeah.
And then, you know, as my taste started to grow more and as the audience started to grow more, I didn't want to become like a one-trick pony. So then we started to go like fully deep into it. And then it made sense. It didn't throw nobody off guard because everybody knew me growing up as always, you know, staying fly. Like I got best dressed in middle school, and then I got like most likely to be famous in high school. So
Look
it
at
all
that.
was like a full circle. It's like Twan is not coming out of nowhere with his love for fashion, and you know, it just all made sense. I started doing way more shows at the time. I started to really like after high school, you know, because I'm out and about. I got all the legion. I started running to New York more. I'm going to DC. I'm going to Delaware. I'm going to all these places, and I got my brand. I'm being a billboard for my own brand.
Yeah.
And then, you know, after that, I was just like, I just want to make cool shit. Like, I just didn't want it to be like regular, you know, music merch or regular, like just, upper classes. So we started to become way more like deeper and deeper with the designs. And then like everybody really look at it now like a really functioning clothing line, exactly how I, you know, planned it out to be.
You know, it's something you would, while you were telling that story, it really went off in my head that I really didn't put together until actually just this moment right now, where I feel like why this whole thing has been working for you, like the music thing and the fashion thing and everything, is because this is genuinely just who you are. Whereas for me, when I was doing it, I felt like I was a completely different person, or I feel like I needed to play a role in order for me to succeed.
Like turn it on and off.
Exactly, and you know, and I've seen that with other artists. You know, like I'll share this story with you real quick. So I remember I was sort of dating this female rapper at the time.
Okay.
And first and foremost, I never thought that I would get somebody like that because we were just completely two different people. But you know how they say opposites attract.
Yes.
But the point that I'm getting at here is that when I got to know them as a person, I'm not going to put the government out there, but when I got to know them as a person, I really genuinely loved who they were and what they were about and this and that and the third. But when they turned it on and off, like you said, when they get into their hip hop persona, I wasn't necessarily a fan. Like I love the music was dope, but I just didn't like this role that they were playing because I got to know this person on such a personal level that I felt like anything else that they were trying to portray was fugazi. But I'm not going to tell them, you know, because you know, to discourage them from their craft or whatever. They feel that they got to do. But for some reason it just didn't seem genuine to me, and I just felt like if she was just herself, then maybe she could be a little bit more successful than she already is. But I say that to say that it's all about really finding out what you're good at, and if whatever you're good at, make sure that you're just your most authentic self. Because I think what's helped me with this platform is just be brutally honest about myself, whether it's, you know, to brag about my accomplishments, to my self-deprecating, whatever the case may be. I just hold nothing back, and it's pretty much inspire people to just like be honest with themselves and just like don't worry about being afraid or embarrassed or anything like that. Just you know, be honest with it, and you know that. You know how they say the truth will set you free, or like honesty is the best policy, and I think that that's what's worked for me in the end. So I just say that to say that I feel like because it's really worked out for you, because in anything that you do, whether it's music, fashion, whatever the case may be, you're just being your authentic self this whole time. You're not trying to put on a persona
at all. And because when it comes to that, it's hard to keep it up. And that's what people don't realize is like once you start to like try to, you know, put on a persona and be something that you're not, it's hard to keep up. It's hard to keep up. Because then when somebody sees you in public, let's say if I was like pretending to be like the fashion guy, and someone sees me in public and I'm at Target, right? I'm at Target, and then I don't got no fly shit on. And they'll look at me like, but you supposed to be the fashion dude. You supposed to be the fly dude. But me on a regular, really going to Target, I really still feel like I'm going to throw, even if it's just me running around, I'm going to still throw on some semi-fly shit. Because that's just me. It's not like, I'm like, oh shit, what if I bump into somebody? No, that's just, when I go to the gym, I'm still, my gym shoes is like some cool, like fly shit. The people compliment me in the gym. Like, if I go running, I'm going to buy some fly Hoka's, little Hoka plug. But I'm going to throw on some like, you know, dope shit, because it's just like, that's just really me. You know, I just like any facet of my life, working out, music, on a stage, or, you know, running errands or whatever, I still just want to be fitted. You know, I still want to be like, I still want to look good. You know, everything from just like haircut shit. Like, bro, I get depressed sometimes if I don't got a haircut, bro. And I'm like, what's wrong? I'm like, I need a fucking haircut. Yeah, like,
hey, you know what? Sometimes it could be the smallest things, bro. Like for me, I remember I was feeling like a little down. And then afterwards, it wasn't until I started cleaning my entire apartment that I started feeling a whole lot better, because I started looking around me like, man, my fucking place is a mess right now. Like nothing is clean. There's clothes all over the place, and like the dishes are piling up in the sink and everything. So you know, it's all about environment.
And you know
and
that's not you.
That's not
right. So when you know that's not you, it's like you got to check yourself almost. Like what am I really doing right now?
Right.
And it's kind of like the same thing you had with the music. Like this ain't me right now. Like, what am like? I'm not the authentic Jason that
It's
you know.
yeah, it's a mixture of that, and it's also having the right people in your corner because
That's important.
yeah, because I think for the people that I had in my corner at the time, you know, they're good people, well intentioned. I still know some of them to this day, but I think that their approach on where they thought the music and everything else should go was the wrong move.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know, I don't think that people realize that until you know everything is hindsight 2020. But even back then, as much as I didn't want to admit it, but I definitely felt it inside that I was like, this just doesn't feel like me. This doesn't feel authentic. I feel like I'm already feeling like I'm exhausted because I'm portraying something that I'm really not.
And then God, let's say God forbid, and I'm not saying this in the sense that you wasn't successful or anything, but
Right.
let's say you hit like the peak. You gotta just keep that up.
Yes.
Like you went this whole time being, you know, Malibu's most wanted or whatever, like just but
Be
it's
rad.
like yeah, but now you gotta stay there. You gotta stay there.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So whatever personality or whatever persona the public starts to understand you as, it's like you gotta play into that now. So and then you really kind of just lose who you are.
And it's also kind of crazy to think that, okay, you met me as a person in the beginning, and then afterwards you want to work with me, and then you want to transform me into something else. Like, why didn't you go with the thing that attracted to you in the first place?
Yeah.
So it was just a really weird time. But you know, this is where I was just my focus was just all over the place, and like I said, I got in it for the wrong reasons. I was just thinking about the dollar signs, and you know, like, and what's funny is that I always had the mindset like, you know what, you can give me the fortune, but you can keep the fame. I don't want the fame. But I was surrounded by people like, nah, fuck that, man. I want the fame. I want the money. I want the bitches. I got everything. Like they want everything that they want under the sun. Yeah. And that should have been a sign right there that, you know, our visions was not aligned.
Yeah. Nah, I'm a firm believer in that, man. The people you have around you is very important during your journey because you'll really see people's true colors when shit start to get a little, like, start to fizzle out a little bit. You know what I mean? And it sucks that some people gotta go through all of that to kind of see, and then that puts them in a deeper hole of, like, you know, depression or discouragement. But I'm blessed, man. I swear, by the grace of God, I'm blessed that throughout my journey, it's always just been solid people. It's been solid people around, man. Like, not everybody, let's say that I started with is still, like, present, but it's still just, it was a chapter. It's all chapters. And you get something from each one. However you apply it to your life, you can look at it as negative or positive. But they were all chapters, and I'm still grateful for, like, just everything that transpired. But I feel like God has definitely blessed me with the right people that never let me veer off left too much. You know, I might get, like, a funky idea and present it to, you know, somebody close to me, and they'll genuinely tell me, like, nah, that ain't you. Like, I could tell this is something that just, like, you probably just got micro influenced by, and now you just trying to magnify it, but that ain't Twondon in the Upperclass brand.
Right. And also going back to what we were talking about not really being your authentic self.
Yeah.
There were moments where I was doing something that didn't feel 100% honest to me, but I was still getting acclaim and praise. So now I felt like I was putting even more pressure onto myself that, all right, and now I need to keep this up.
Yeah.
You know, so like when people started hearing the music that I was putting out, whether they really liked it or didn't, they were still impressed because either A, they didn't think that I would be that good, or B, they didn't think that I would be, you know, into something like that. You know, it was like, oh, I didn't know that was something you were into. And it's kind of shocking to me. And, you know, once that drives your ego, I mean, like, you get more arrogant.
No,
and,
for
and,
sure.
I feel like that's where my part of my downfall was, where I let the arrogance get the best of me.
Too early, probably.
Oh,
too.
yeah. And it goes back to what you said. Like, if I actually reached my actual peak, I think that the downfall would have been even much harder. Much harder. So in a way, like, again, everything is hindsight 2020. I feel like everything was happened the way it was supposed to, and as fucked up and as discouraging as it was, looking back on it, I don't take it all back. It was meant to happen because I don't think I would be the person that. Put it this way, bro. I still joke around about self-deprecating humor, stuff like that. I'm not afraid to poke fun at myself, but there was a time where I legitimately hated myself. You know, I would look in the mirror and I would just think, what a fat fucking piece of shit. Why are you even on this earth? This, that, and the third.
Okay.
I look in the mirror today, those thoughts are nowhere to be found.
I love that.
Yeah, there's nowhere to be found, and I'm looking in the mirror, I'm like, You motherfucker, you.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah. That's so fire, bro. That's so
Yeah.
fire, and I love hearing shit like that because you know, the comment you made earlier about just having that ounce of confidence. That shit, like, you look in the mirror and being that way today, it's really gonna show in everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the people could tell that too. You know, like the people who's watching, the people who's supporting, the people who's viewing what you're doing, like they could tell that too. And I think that's even more beautiful than always being like at the top of your game. Like because when God bless you with everything that you're gonna have, like you're gonna appreciate that shit so much, bro. Because you're gonna remember those times where like you thought just you was looking at yourself in that certain way, and then it's just like I'm sure I like to do like this mind fuck thing where it's just like 39-year-old Jason having a conversation with whatever age you were at that time, Jason, and being like, "Yo, I told you it was gonna be just fine. Like, I'm glad you stuck with it. I'm glad you paid attention to the signs." And then that version is looking at your 39-year-old version like, "Yeah, you did the fucking thing. You did your fucking thing."
And you know, not to get ahead of myself or anything, but it makes me really wonder what the 50-year-old Jason, God willing, is gonna
that conversation be like with 39.
with 39-year-old Jason.
Yeah. So that's the way I try to like look at things with that perspective. It's just like, yo, that kid who had green and white, if he could have a conversation with Twan now that has a situation with Empire, has a functioning clothing brand, and has like his music hitting, like I just hit 100K plus on 100K on Apple Music plus streams, and just like that conversation they can have.
Round of applause.
Yeah, thank you, man. I feel like that conversation between them two would be like, man, bro, you stuck with this shit. Like, you really stuck with this shit. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
you know, also I read this this quote that I want to share with you, and I think it falls into line with what you're doing with your business and your art and everything like that. This quote goes, "Don't cancel your business just because people you know do not support you. The world is full of strangers who are rooting for you." And I love that quote because it seems like ever since I started the show and everything that I've been doing, the people that have been the most supportive and the ones that drive me to keep on going are the ones that I don't even talk to on a regular basis. You know, like, and nothing against the people that I know in my life personally. You know, whether they're doing their own thing or whatever the case may be, I'm not doing it for them. You know, there was a time where I thought that I needed people's validation. That's not the case anymore. But the point that I'm getting at is, I think when you do it for yourself, you're going to reach a network, for lack of a better term, of people that you're not familiar with, that are strangers, and they're going to love what you do.
Absolutely.
And you shouldn't necessarily focus on, you know, like don't try to go with the mindset that, oh, I have 100,000 followers on Instagram. How come I'm not getting 100,000 you know, views or streams or whatever the case may be, because the numbers are not lining up. But I don't know, the algorithm is weird. It's funny. I don't know how it works. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know what I'm talking about. But the point is that I think that when you do things for yourself and then you just let that exude, you know, let it fall for who it be. Maybe to be people that are in your circle. Maybe there's people that's going to be strangers, but it's just a weird dynamic. But I appreciate it nonetheless, how the people that don't know you all that well, the strangers in the world, like, when I sometimes look at the numbers of my show, I'm a dude that has never been to Europe before, but apparently there's some people in Europe that are listening to my show on a consistent basis. And I don't know who these people are, but I thank you guys regardless. And it's just really cool to see something like that. And I'm not saying I'm doing it for them, but it's just a driving force. But I just kind of want to get your take on, like, you know, strangers supporting you as opposed to the people that are supposed to be in your inner circle.
Yeah, so I feel like that's an interesting thing too. And I think my theory on that is that I feel like people who, so they may attract themselves to you more because they don't know you. And I feel like that's what it be. I feel like people who are closer to you, being that they probably either seen you grown up or they know you're from the same town, it's like they already have this idea of you in their mind that they probably molded you to be whatever character that, you know, they created in their mind of who you are. But a stranger, they just know you from the service you're doing or the product you're putting out. And as long as it's speaking to them and relating to them, it's just that they're unbiased. Like, I just feel like they look at it as like, I don't know this guy from personally, I don't know him from like a hole in the wall, but I love what he represents. I love how authentic he is. I love how he carries himself, and they probably see a little bit of you in them. And I think with people that know you personally, it's hard for them to tune in like that, because to them they look at it like, especially if they're not a creative, they just look at it like, what's he doing that's so cool? Yeah, you know what I mean? It's weird. But I have a very extensive support system that goes all the way even up to like Canada, because pre-COVID I was in Canada a lot, just like
Nice.
touring, doing shows and everything like that. And the love that I was getting up there, and just even in the States too though, but it was just like you would think these people, like, because this was their first time hearing my music, but you would think this is like they knew me their whole life or something like that, because the way they like embraced me, you know what I mean? And then
your art really spoke to them.
Yeah, in some way, shape, or form. And I look at it like, I take both, because I feel like what happens is when the strangers start to like really jump on board and support you, it makes it hard for them people that know you personally to start to deny you now. Because it's just like, what am I really not getting behind this guy? And then you see a random person just in your comments or on your page or resharing your stuff, and they just showing you the utmost love. I think what translates to that person who know you is just like how's he pulling this off? How's he doing this? The hometown sometimes could be the last to jump on board with you. I hear a lot of artists, speak about that they had to leave their hometown.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I get a lot of love where I'm from. But I've seen stories like that where artists would really be like, they had to leave first and then come back because they just wasn't getting the love and support. So it's interesting, man. It's interesting. And then when you realize that this is all through like an art form and how it's affecting people, it's also a battery in my back to be like, you never know who's watching and listening. Like, even if you got 10K followers, 5K followers, 1,000 followers, 500 followers, you don't know who's really relying on you to keep putting out these episodes. Because this could be getting them through their commute. This could be getting them through their work day.
Sure.
This could be getting them through when they get home and they just winding down. You don't know who is really like in need of this form of content and this form of conversation. So whether you get 100 or 100K views, you just always gotta just stay on it and stay on top of it, because word of mouth, in my opinion, is still the best form of promotion.
Yeah, I believe that too.
Yeah, like regardless, you could run as many ads you want to run on IG. You could put up as many billboards. Word of mouth, I feel like, is still the like strongest form of promotion. And when people vocally step out their way and speak on how great like your podcast is and how great your acting is, that's the easiest way that they're gonna convert other people to jump on board. And I believe in just a fan a day. You get one person a day to just jump on board with what you're doing. 2, 3, 4, 5, by the grace of God. But you just get one person a day to just believe in what you got going on, you'll be just fine, man. You'll be just fine. Because it goes back to the 1,000 fan rule. Like, if you got 1,000 people to just support anything you put out, that's just gonna build and become a snowball effect in due time. And I'm a big firm believer in that.
Round of applause, round of applause, round of applause. Yeah,
I know that was kind of extensive.
No.
I
thought it was perfectly said.
Yeah.
And I think that it'll get through to anybody that's listening and watching this, right? It's definitely got through me, so I'm pretty confident it will. But that's also a nice segue, because what have you got on the horizon as far as like your next upcoming projects, shows, whatever the case may be?
Yeah, so I don't know if he'll get mad at me or not, but I'm gonna put this out. No, he'll be fine. So I got a project that we're working on with my engineer, Brandon Plan B, and it's the second God Complex. We did the first God Complex was in 2020. So we running on 5 years, which is crazy. And we got a few records in for that. Before that comes out, I don't have no date or anything yet because we just cooking up. But before that comes out, I do got some features lined up. I won't put those out yet, but I do got some features lined up that we're gonna drop just to build anticipation. And then we actually working on the next Upperclass International like collection right now. So I would say if we in May now, that'll probably be available like the first week of June or second week of June. And I got Fashion Files that I launched. It's a new series with me like displaying my personal style. And I don't like to gatekeep. So the goal with that is to really, put the average person on to certain brands that probably flew under their radar. And my goal with that is just to, like I said, just like I know some people probably get in the way because they probably want to be like, oh, what's those shoes you wearing? Or what's that jacket you wearing? Or what's the boom boom? But ego is a motherfucker, so they probably would never ask me. So this is my way of like just putting the people on, and then just another way of expressing myself. Because what I learned is that with me, I got two forms. I got music, which you don't get to hear every day unless you going like I'm not putting out a song every day. Is what I mean. Like you can go back and listen to my voice every day, and then I got clothing, which comes out more on a seasonal basis. So Fashion Files is a way for me to like really, just no big production, no crazy lights, nothing like that. You catch me like in my crib, just showing off like my new things that I bought and just what I'm wearing currently and showing love. And then Upperclass International is Upperclass International. We spoke about that. But yeah, that's what I got lining up. It's some features leading up to God Complex 2 with Plan B, and then we got the Upperclass International collection that's gonna drop in June. So that's what the next couple months is doing.
This man stays busy, ladies and gentlemen. This man stays busy, and that's all because he's just his fucking self.
100%.
All right, man. So, but listen, bro. So we're up against the clock right now.
Okay.
But I just have one more final segment, just an opportunity for people to get to know you a little bit more.
Yeah.
So now, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for everybody's favorite segment. It's called This or That. If you've never seen the show before, what happens is I will ask my guest here multiple choice questions, some basic ones, and also some tailored around him, so you get to know him a little bit more. And there's no right or wrong answers, just what you like, so that people can have fun with it. All right.
Okay.
All right. So are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready, Nashi? All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go for This or That. You, Mr. Twondon. Playlist or podcast?
Damn. Podcast.
Okay. Slides or Crocs?
Crocs.
Okay. Wow. Surprising. Beach or pool?
Pool.
All right.
Pool.
Dogs or cats?
Cats.
Are you an early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Instagram or TikTok?
Damn. I'm gonna say both because I was like against TikTok at first, but I'm falling in love with TikTok now, bro.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest, yeah. So
All right.
both.
Like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. To give or to receive?
To give.
Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
Both. Batman
Batman or Superman?
Damn, I'm gonna say Batman because I just ran through Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, and I forgot how good those movies were.
Classics.
So I'm going with Batman.
Classics.
Yeah.
Iron Man or Captain America?
Iron Man.
All right. Are you glass half empty or glass half full?
Half full.
Would you rather be embarrassed or be afraid?
Embarrassed.
Would you rather be too hot or be too cold?
Too cold.
Would you rather do dishes or laundry?
Laundry. Yeah.
Do you prefer the window seat or the aisle seat?
Window.
Are you book smart or street smart?
Both. Facts.
Reading or writing?
Damn. I know you said no right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with writing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you rather speak every language or play every instrument?
Play every instrument. Because music is universal.
Love that. Cardio or weights?
Damn, I should be doing my cardio. I'm going weights.
Dancing or karaoke?
Damn. Yo, these is good, Jason.
Thank you, man.
Karaoke.
Drama or comedy?
Comedy. God, I love laughing.
All right. Streaming at home or movie theater?
Damn. Streaming at home. I ain't gonna front, yeah.
Ice water or room temperature?
Room.
And then finally, teamwork or solo project?
Teamwork, baby.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for This or That. That is going to do it for this episode of First Class, Second Place.
Teamwork,
Thank you to my guest, Twondon, for coming through here. Anybody you want to give a shout out to before we close out real quick?
Everyone that's listening, I want to shout them out. Everyone who support the brand, support Twondon, Mama Twondon, Parkview, Englewood. Jason, want to shout you out. Thank you big time. Everyone behind the boards that's helping out produce this, and thank God, man. Yeah. All
right, and one more time, where can they find you on social media and all your music and everything?
So socials, everything is Upperclass Twon on every platform. The brand, the clothing is Upperclass INTL for international. Fashion Files on IG, and then music, everything Twondon. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first class, Upperclass meet, it's a fucking movie.
That's what you get.
All right, so bro, thank you so much for coming through. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And good luck to everything that you're doing. And we'll see if we'll do this again in the future.
Hell yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, you can find me at I am Jason Enrique on all social media platforms. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube at Jason Enrique. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next week. This has been the First Class Second Place podcast. We out.